This is my TNA Impact review of the 21st March 2025 edition. I think it was a fine show, nothing special happened. Like Nick Nemeth explained his actions, which were like standard wrestling stuff. Like when I was world champion, TNA had the resurgence, but that he's like jealous. Not saying that he's jealous, but that's what he is. Like that's why he's the heel. That Matt and Jeff came back and took the credit, and that they were trying to draw a wedge between him and his brother, and that he's part of the greatest brother tag team in wrestling history. And also that Ryan Nemeth is essentially like the the whiny like little bro in this. It's just that like this is like the big storyline that they are doing. Like this is what TNA wanted to like project after the show. The images of Nick Nemeth turning on the Hardys and everything. It's just that wouldn't have it made more sense if Nick Nemeth turned against Matt Hardy between the match, and then JDC would have won the match. I mean, not JDC, the system would have won the match. Like, would have that made sense? Like, the system is clearly your top stable, though it can only be a top stable in a company like TNA, but that is what it is. So, like, you would have had them pin Matt Hardy. You didn't have to have them pin Joe Henry. I get it why they had them win because Joe Henry and everything, but it would have made more sense. Then Leon Slater came out. Leon Slater is kind of like the Black Osprey because the way that Osprey like delivers his lines, of course, you can say that they're British, but the lines that he uses, like the style of which he cuts promo, like Will Osprey cuts a promo like that on the like what's up, it's a crazy and everything, like the way that he puts emphasis on certain words. So he's kind of like the Black Osprey. So he came out, he tried to, attack both of them, but in the end, Nick Nemeth got the better of him, and he like took him, his brother, and went away. Hardy's also had like a video packet explaining that they will take the revenge and everything. You had, First Class also with Chavo Guerrero coming out, with Frankie also coming out. Like Chavo is clearly the face. Them talking about how like then Frankie coming out being like we have previous history, Chavo being like you'll face, then Laredo Kid and Octagon comes out like they're gonna face First Class next week. This was like standard stuff. I don't really need to explain this. Like you can like when I mention these names, you get what probably happened. It was like pretty standard stuff. The thing that I don't like is why did they have Northern Army versus Rascals? Clearly looks like they see talent in Northern Army. That is why when Josh Alexander was going away, they put them with Eric Young, their trusted veteran, like the guy who has a personality, who has a blowjob voice, but is over with the crowd, is a veteran, can speak on the mic, is charismatic. Why did he put them against the Rascals, who are like clearly your like next stars in the company? Like be it as a tag team, be it as singles wrestlers, like they're probably one of the most over tag teams in your company, you know, disregarding if you look at the Hardys. Like because the Rascals won, it was a fine match. The Rascals won in the end. I'm just like it does look like Rascals will be the one who will eventually take the titles off the Hardys, but it's just that like because now the Rascals are again in a six-man tag feud, like they were against Wesley and his crew. Now then, after the match, Eric Young and all of them tried to attack him, but then Ace Austin comes out and looks like this is going to be the next thing that happens with the Rascals. It looks like they're trying to like keep them in feuds so that they remain hot, and eventually they'll have the Hardys lose to them, which is the plan. But I think it's going to be a while because probably Hardys will go into standard 11 as TNA tag champs, and you'll probably have the Hardys now facing Fraxium for the NXT tag team championships. You also had Masha coming out that saying that Cora Jade tried a lot but she wasn't enough. I want to like defend this title everywhere, like I'm proud of it and all. But then Tessa came out with like jiggling her ass a little bit on the ramp, But then she turned, and then you saw her like ghoulish face, and you're like, oh, from the back, whoa, from the front, whoa. And she said a lot of stuff that, then surprisingly, JC Jane attacked Marsha Slamwish from back. And spoiler alert, it looks like probably Fallon Henley and the third one is also showing up next week or next to next week. So TNA is actually getting a lot. Like they're getting fatal influence. Like the top heel women's stable on NXT, they're getting them. Next week she's gonna face JC Jane for the NXT, for the TNA Knockouts Division Championship. And they are so smart. They know that WWE like sends them there, and they're like, okay, put them with her. Then they're putting her with Tessa. Like they did it with Cora also, and they're doing this with her too. Like they want to get the rub off Tessa. I, in a way, like this is probably leading to Tessa taking the title of Marsha, right? Like probably at Unbreakable, which is coming back after 20 years, because like they 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 didn't immediately put the title on her. It was because that they wanted to see, can she sustain the heel reactions that she is getting. Like the worst thing that could have happened to her was that maybe they put the title on her too early, and then the crowd just goes like silent, like they did with the Death Riders, like just complete apathy. But the thing is, the people have so like go home heat with her that TNA management doesn't care. They're like, she's getting a reaction still, and that's enough for us, because they kind of need these like media headline stuff. So they're gonna keep Tessa like in that picture. You then also like Zia Brookside is like the charis it's like the goody two shoes face who like kind of loses to everyone but has like a nice personality. Everybody loves her, which eventually they're gonna make a star. And I'm glad that they're putting her with like a Rosemary, like a wet, like the standard like evil character, like who puts over every like new up and coming like woman on the roster, and she will do like wonders with it. It's just that, man, it's so awkward when like Zaya Brookside is standing like backstage, and then Rosemary cuts a long promo like standing in her like washroom or something, because the styles look like they were of a washroom. And I'm like, these interviews should be short, because Zaya Brookside is there just like, "Hmm, hmm," for a long while. I'm like, why are you standing there? Just go away. Like shorten it a little bit. Then they had a tag match where Zaya was like, I'll bring out the best tag partner, and she brought a Laying Lee. At least they're doing something with her. Like it was Savannah Evans, who currently like she has like a brutish look. Also, she in the ring she's also a brute, like more of power moves. I think like when she eventually, I think she'll probably start as like a heel, like heel heater of like maybe Rosemary, then going on to like certain like maybe Tessa one day, and then eventually when they start getting her like more like personality, maybe they work on her mic skills, maybe she becomes a star eventually, like maybe some years later. But there is something there, like the way she comes in, her entrance, like she has something. Even in the ring she has something which can be developed into something bigger. You also had Mance Warner like with Steph De Lander like beating some random luchador, like that is also continuing. They kiss like animals, literally, like that fucking lipstick just that. And she's not the official digital media champion also, which I'm glad they clarified. Then also that Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance, like they celebrated their tag team victory. They won the tag team championships, and the concierge like came out with like two male strippers. I'm like, they got some stripper action, huh? With like just bow ties. Then they come out to the ring, they bring like a cake. Then Ash and Heather come out. Like Heather, by her facial expressions, like she has to give some facial expressions in that titan role. Like Ash, slash Dana Brooke is doing everything to like have that gimmick. Like, and Heather is like put some effort into it, girl. Like I still think that Ash, Dana Brooke, congratulations, you have a championship, is still not there. That she does overact a little bit too much, where you can see like she tries to get into too much of the character, but she couldn't. you can see that. The thing is, this segment also kind of expose how little tag teams TNA has, because Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson show up, then Spitfire show up, then Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley also show. I would have liked if like Shotzi also went there. Like, I mean, they had these three on NXT for like some weeks, and then they just put them off TV because they had more things to like focus upon. But maybe you could have sent Shotzi also there. Like, she could have been at ringside, like done some stuff also, because the thing is, maybe they're planning for her to come back on the main roster. Those NXT matches are probably to check if she's fit and all, because they do see her as something that they can put their weight that they put their weight around her, like she can become something. But it would have made like sense for her to go there too. Like, they had a brawl also. Next week something is happening too. it's I'm glad, because Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson are like too talented to just be off TV and do nothing. Like, since they lost to like what, Bianca and Naomi, they had like what, one match against Sol Ruka and Zarya, and then they have been off TV. So I'm glad that they are there. Also, like GD Dolan and Tatum Paxley, like they eventually, whenever like some of these NXT, like the people who have come here from TNA, like go to the main roster, like they will be featured more there. I believe that they will be featured more there. So that's also good. So it is good. Like, it's a good tag team division. Like, one thing is also that kind of like, there is no like tribalism there in TNA. Like, they were like chanting NXT NXT when JC Jane attacked uh, Masha. Like, JC is like a heel. Like, Masha is your face. Like, you're literally your women's face of the company. But also, like, in the main event, it was the System versus Joe Henry and Elijah. Like, TNA should be the company where people like Elijah can be in the main event, where people like maybe Speedball Mike Bailey, maybe like an Ace Austin, maybe like these guys can be like world champions there. Like, someone like a Zachary Wentz or Trevor Lee, they can be like world champions there. Because some of these guys like go to AEW and WWE, they may not make even to the mid card. They make it to the mid card, but there's no like upper mid card something for them. I think they'll do like much better if they like TNA goes off axis, goes on to a respectable network that people actually watch, and be like the third company, and be like the third company in a way that they have money, that they're doing sellouts, but they have like actual like money where they can sign a significant amount of talent to good contracts, where they can run like these medium sized arenas consistently. I hope that it happens with them. The thing is, this match was very boring. They are probably setting up Elijah turning on Joe, because Elijah was in there, he was about to strum his guitar, but then Joe Henry's music hit and he came out. In the end, Joe Henry and Elijah won. I just do not see like what is the future with this System and Joe Henry feud. Like, Joe Henry has beaten them, like, be it in tag action, maybe in singles action too, like almost every time. Like, what is the end goal of this? Like, Moose is the X Division champion. He just lost to Oba Femi, so I don't think they're going to do like a Joe Henry Moose feud. Like, you'd not have your X Division champion first lose to the NXT champion, then lose to the TNA World Champion as well. So I don't know what they do with this. Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana, I'll probably say that Mustafa Ali has the gear that if you as a wrestler wear it in like the streets, no one can judge you, like apart from like the jacket. But those pants, like, we can say you are a, I can say I'm a wrestler, and the person will be like, okay, they'll not be like, oh, these guys wrestle in tights or not. They had a good enough match, but the match was more about the story which happened after. Like, Mustafa Ali like purposefully counted himself out. He had like a great line backstage where he said that Mustafa Ali is the addiction, that is the one addiction that Santana cannot beat. And in the end, also, his like one of his entourage members, the girl, black girl, also said something, and then he was like, "Get in here," and they went away, which is, I think, is a very great story. Like, what happened, like drawing the parallels between addiction. What happens in addiction when you don't have the thing that you're addicted to? You get rabid, like you start losing your mind, you start doing crazy stuff. Maybe we'll see Mike Santana also start doing crazy stuff, because in a way he can't get his hands on Mustafa Ali, and then Mustafa Ali can go, see, I said that he has not beaten addiction, because that is what an addict will do. Like, this is actually a very good storyline. I like it. It's just that whenever Mike Santana beats Mustafa, what does Mustafa do after that? I hope that he gets put into another compelling story, because he has a lot to give. I think he's kind of like the one that should probably be in NXT with this exact same character, with his entourage, that he can actually do stuff in NXT, because he's a known star. He can be like a upper mid card stable also there, but maybe they don't want him there right now. And Mike Santana also, like, they have presented him very perfectly, like him, like his entrance, his music, the way he comes to the ring, the connect that he has, the way he says his promos, the way he moves in the ring, like, he is a star, and they have presented him as a star. They've given him everything, that we trust you, you can be a single star. It's just that now that the goal has to be, whenever Joe Henry loses, he loses to Mike Santana, and that has to be like on like TNA's like biggest show ever. Like, it has to be Mike Santana winning and becoming the guy of the company after Henry. It has to be that. What else happened on the show? I may have missed some stuff, but like, who cares? I think it was a fine show. Like, it was nothing like amazing happened, but it was not a bad show. Let's just, leave it at that. It's just that also I like the dynamic between Tom Phillips and Aiden English, like Matt Reynolds. That where Matt Reynolds said that, oh, so many of them have crashed the party. This was supposed to be a party, and Tom Phillips says that, see how many people have come there. I like that dynamic. So overall, I'll say a fine show, 2.5 show out of 5. Like, it's not a bad show, but it's not like, even for a show to be average, like, it has to have like one great match or like one great segment. It didn't have that. It was fine. So that was my review of TNA Impact 21st March 2025 edition. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. Tell me what did you think about the TNA's episode in the comment section below. If you don't like this type of content, then share it with those who do. My social media links, which are my Twitter/X account link and my Instagram account link, is in the description below, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shareboy@okicici, is in the description also. So go donate any amount of money which you can, which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.